Yeah.
Bless your heart.
All right.
So, good morning, kids.
Good morning, Sam.
Morning.
Welcome to Making a Difference with Sam Tran. It's that day of the month again. You know, it's amazing how fast these months are flying by, Sam.
Yep. Here
It's
we're
crazy
wrapping
how
up another
fast.
year here. One more
Yeah,
year.
this is it. This at the end, Christmas is coming. Oh my Lord, don't blink. Like the song says, don't blink because it'll be here before you can open your eyes back up.
True.
So anyway, yeah, everybody, excited to be here with Sam again this month. He's gracious enough to come in and bless us with his interesting perspective on just about everything. And today we're going to talk about being the Swiss Army knife of business. We're going to talk about teasing the why out of people. What is their why?
Hmm.
And uh, and then if we have some more time, we're going to talk about the art of not doing business. And that right there should be really interesting if we get around to it. So maybe we can just pack it all together in here and get through all of those things. So
Yeah.
think about being the Swiss Army knife of business, Sam. What a
Yeah. You know, one of these utility knives or a Swiss Army knife has different tools in it, that can accomplish different things. You got the regular knife, you got the little saw, maybe tweezers kind of plucked tucked in somewhere, and some of them even come with little scissors, little tiny scissors, right? And so when we look at this business, um, people don't, there's a lot of focus on the water, the H2O, right? But it's also environmental, right? Because we're reducing plastics, we're reducing chemicals. It's obviously medical, because it is a medical device from Japan, but people think of it as, oh, it's a water filter, and so right there, that's what is sold to people. People think it's a water filter, and so when people think it's a water filter, you have to increase the value significantly because people don't value water, right? And so, what I do is I specifically ask people what their problem is, what their number one concern is, and that's what we want to address. Because it's not a dehydration issue for everyone. You know, some people, hey, they need to make more money. That's it. Some people they want to travel the world. Some people, hey, they're just trying to play more cricket. More not cricket, but more what's that new sport? Pickleball.
Pickleball.
Everyone's playing pickleball nowadays.
Yeah, yeah.
And so all they're trying to do is they're trying to get to the top of their bracket in pickleball. That's their number one concern right now, right?
Yep.
And so being on this water can help, you know. And so I think we sometimes forget because there was a question this morning that I answered about, what are the properties? What's the major property of the water? Blah blah, all this science stuff. And I wrote it something, and then I ended it with, guys, science doesn't know everything, right? And so like, yeah, you can understand the different properties, but don't get too much into it works because of the science of the thing. It works because it works. And science can't explain why this works so well either. Because if science did, science would actually be using this on everything, But what we have now is we have political science, populist science. But we have a multi tool here. We have something that can, and this is the thing that perplexed me. How is it that this device, which is pretty simple, in my mind, can solve such complex things, can alleviate such complex symptoms that people are having. We've had everyone from, there's no medical claims here, but we've had a lot of people that have achieved some kind of relief from chronic illness, so from terminal illness, from sprained ankles, to fibromyalgia, which is super complicated, to irritable bowel syndrome. Do we know how it all works? Yeah, to some extent we know the mechanism of action and how this water is different, but in general, science doesn't know everything about the human body. That's why they keep doing research. They keep doing, they keep inventing new technologies because, oh, we didn't know this before, but now we do. So all I know is that this works on so many things, and it's so effective and it's so simple. The problem here is to keep it simple. A lot of times, and I was guilty of this early in my career here. Was, I'm the science guy. Everyone knows me as a science guy, and so I sit there and I explain stuff. But science is complicated. Science is super deep, but it doesn't need to be. Just drink 2 liters of this stuff every day. You'll pee more, you'll poop more, and your body will just work better. Period.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who have a really hard time pooing.
Right. And like for some reason, I find it very odd that as a species, we're supposed to be the most intelligent on the planet, right? And then we have these fearless leaders and these a lot of very smart people running the country, making the decisions, all sorts of things. But here we are, sicker, in debt, abusing all sorts of drugs and to escape the rat race that is the human rat race. I mean, no other animal has the human rat race. Even the rats, they live pretty, they live their normal lives, and they're not like, trying to save up for their rat 401k. Meanwhile, the humans are trying to save up for your 401k. It's like this complicated, it's more complicated than it needs to be, and sometimes we get lost in our head, trying to understand all that, trying to convey all that to everyone, when it's really simple. It's really simple. Just what you need is what you need. What you don't need is what you don't need, and so people's like, well, if you're mostly water, you might need to drink some water, right? If you have gut bacteria that needs to digest fiber, hey, maybe eat some plants once in a while, or every day. It's I mean, that's what all the other animals are doing, and they're not sitting there PhDs and in astrophysics and engineering, bioengineering or whatever. They're just going around looking at, oh, that's a red strawberry, that one's ready to eat. I'll come back and look at the green strawberry a week later. It's that simple.
Yeah, it's interesting, Sam, when you say that about, maybe eat some plants every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Stephanie DeWolf, she I've known her for 30 plus years. And back in the day, she would, like, we'd go be at a softball tournament and we'd go to the burger joint or something, and she would just get a burger, and it would just be a burger and the bun and some ketchup on it or something, and she hated vegetables. She would never eat any vegetables. And I'm piling all the bunny food that I could possibly get onto my burger. I got all kinds of vegetables and everything I can get on the dang thing. And she's eating just a burger patty. And I told her clear back then, I said, Steph, that's crazy. I'm telling you that it's going to catch up to you. And this was long before I found out about Kangen water. And I told her all those years ago, you're going to have problems. And she's like, whatever. I don't like vegetables. I just like my burger. I'm like, okay, whatever, no worries. And then all these years later, 7 years ago, she was having such incredible problems. And that was when I introduced her to Kangen water. She ended up getting herself a machine. And lo and behold, now she eats vegetables. And she doesn't hardly eat any meat anymore. And if she does eat meat, it's soaked in 11.5 Kangen water. And so, and it's made a tremendous difference for her and the health of her body. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe eating a little bit of plant life every now and again might not be a bad idea, right?
Yeah, I mean that's you have to look at how we're designed, right, JJ? If you look at our teeth structure, we have 32 teeth, right? And you have two canines on top and two canines on bottom. And the canines aren't necessarily for chewing on things. They're more for ripping and tearing meat. Okay. But the front teeth are like little choppers. That's why you could buy a celery or a carrot with the front teeth. And then the molars in the back are just big grinders. Same as elephants and other animals that have a flat teeth, right? And so why do we have this whole uh, variety of teeth structure? Is it because we're designed to eat meat? If we're designed to eat meat, we would have the same teeth as a lion, right? Or something that only eats meat. So I've never seen a video of some lion sitting there chewing on a zucchini. It just you've never seen it. Yeah. They're chewing on some zebra or antelope or whatever they eat. But you look at their design, you know, and so we have to go back to the simplicity. The most complex thing we could do is simplicity. Simple is the most complex. Any idiot, any fool, any expert, any society can come in and make a 20-step process, to how to tie your shoelaces, right? But most people don't know how to tie their shoelaces. That's why they double knot their shoelaces. But even tying your shoes, there's a simple way, and there's a way where you have to double knot. If you have to double knot, that means you don't know the simple way.
Yeah.
You're just doubling up on the thing that doesn't work. So two wrongs make a right, apparently. But that's not the case. You know, and and JJ, and I found that out. If you just Google how to tie your shoelaces, there's this 2-minute video on TED Talks. The TED Talks that you see, right? There's a 2-minute video on that about how to tie your shoelaces, because up to age like, I think it was like 39, 40. I thought I knew how to tie my shoelaces, but it turns out I've been tying it. There's a strong form and a weak form of the shoelaces. Like, who the heck knew? Like, for 40 years, I was double, because you play basketball and your shoelaces always come undone. So I'm sitting there double knotting and triple knotting and tucking them into under the tongue of the shoe so they don't get unraveled. And then I just happened to Google it, and I'm like, holy smokes, there's another way.
I might have to Google that. How to tie your
It's like, yeah, there's a strong form of the knot, and it looks like a bow tie, and then there's a weak form of the knot, and it goes down along the laces. And I was like, holy smokes, like,
well,
and,
see, this is one more way we can make a difference, baby. We can teach people how to tie their shoelaces.
Jeez.
So,
yeah.
Sam, I think something I'd really love to learn, um, and I know it's one of my biggest problems. It's one of my things that I need more help with than probably anything else. And that is, the first thing you said here when it came to the Swiss Army knife was concerns, people's concerns.
Mm-hmm.
And down below in our um, program for today, one of our things was to tease the why out of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that finding out what people's why is requires asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be, I know it would be beneficial to me. I'm guessing that it would be beneficial to anybody that ends up watching this video. And that is, how do we ask the right questions? That's my worst thing is I'm so bad at asking the right questions to a stranger, to somebody, and I need a lot of help with that. And
Okay.
I want to figure out how to, because I know that's your specialty. It's something you're so dang good at. And it's probably a huge part of the reason why you're so successful with Kangen Water is because you're good at asking the right questions and teasing the why out of people.
Yeah.
So can we spend, some time
Yeah.
working on that? How do we go about getting into our brain cell? How to ask the right questions to get the out
Yeah.
of people.
Yeah, let's address that, JJ. So when you're having a conversation with someone, have you ever met someone somewhere and maybe you just got introduced to them and they're dominating the conversation and you can't get a word in edgewise? Have you ever had that situation?
Well, usually I'm the dumbass dominating the conversation.
Right? And so that's the thing. That's the thing, right? And so everyone wants to be heard, right? A conversation is I say something, you hear what I say, it's interesting, or then you have a comment and it's like, oh, I was in the same situation too, and there's an exchange, you know. So like if you're into boxing, there's sparring matches, right? Sparring matches, you're kind of going through the movements and you're hitting each other lightly, but you're kind of like you're receiving training by training with a real live person, right? That's actually punching back, but lightly, right? And so you look at a conversation as a sparring match, right? You're throwing something out there and you're waiting for a response, right? And you're throwing something out there and you're waiting for a response. Now, it wouldn't be a good sparring match if you're just sitting there pummeling the person and all they're doing is just covering up. I mean, they wouldn't be getting better, and you certainly wouldn't be, learning how to your defense, do your defense, right? And the same thing in a conversation. Okay, so think of it as that. It's a sparring match. It's a little boxing match, but a verbal boxing match. You don't want to sit there and dominate and just because you'll never get any better, right? Because the whole point is we're in the people business. The whole point of our business is get to know people. And when you get to know people, how you spar is you ask questions that are a little bit deeper, that usually they can't respond yes or no, right? If you ask them, oh, do you live in Seattle? Okay, that's one type of question. Usually the answer is yes or no. Okay. But if you ask like, hey, why do you like living in Seattle? Well, you can't really answer yes or no because I would be a little awkward to that question. You know, why do you live? Why do you like living in Seattle? Yes. They won't be like, well, what? Yes, that doesn't make any sense, right? So the way that you engage someone is you ask questions that they have to explain themselves. And
Right.
and
Why do you think you have your financial problem? Why do you think your health is going south on you?
yeah, yeah,
So that
possibly.
makes that's huge right there, Sam.
Yeah,
How do we tease the why out of people?
yeah.
By asking why.
It's hey, rocket science. We're only doing rocket science here, okay? It's totally rocket science, right? And this is the kind of stuff from how to win friends and influence people. That one book, most people, I don't think they've ever picked up that book, because I'm a science nerd, right? So I'm using the laboratory. I'm not really one of these 6 foot tall, blonde and blue eyed salespeople. I'm using the lab with the lab coat on, right? So we're kind of reserved, and so but I had to have enough social skills to be able to convince people of my ideas, right? And if you can't communicate and you can't make relationships with people, then that's going to be tough to get your ideas out there. You know,
Cheers to that.
you know. So there has to be some kind of um, interest in the person. You know, in a 20-minute conversation, you want to speak like maybe about 10 or 20%, 25%. You know, and then after that 20-minute conversation, that person will probably think, wow, JJ is such a good conversationalist when all you did was talk 10% of the time, and you just pick their brain a little bit,
Right.
you know. And then that's basically it. It's just like take a real interest in people, because sometimes what we do is we try to go too fast with the prospect, right? And with people, sometimes fast is slow and slow is fast, right? With people, right? Because if you try to go too fast and you're not, and then you just met them 5 minutes ago, and then now you're saying, hey, you should check out my business. Well, they might have red alarm bells, alarms are flashing in their heads, like, oh, this guy's a MLM guy or something, or this guy's he's not that into me. He's here for is just to engage with me, but he's actually trying to just make a pitch, you know. So that's why I play the super long term game. You know, I have the opposite problem, JJ. Sometimes I don't talk about business ever with the person for like a year. And so I have the opposite problem because my value, what I value is relationships. What I value is authenticity, you know. And so I really try to get to know someone. And if they're happy and they're financially independent and they're healthy and they got 6-pack abs, like, hey, maybe I gotta hang out with you more. Maybe I gotta eat what you're eating.
Yeah.
You know. But a lot of times we get into this mindset of, oh, we're always on the hunt for people, and people can tell when they're being hunted.
Right.
Just like
I've got to
animals.
sell a machine. I've got bills to pay this month. I've got to sell a machine. I got to sell a machine. I got to sell a machine.
And yeah, and then that creates a certain sense of desperation or pushiness, and people know. And then what happens is people watch you for years, and you've probably seen this. Like someone will deny you and call you crazy for like 3 years, and then something happens the fourth year, and all of a sudden they call you up, hey, John, are you still doing that? That water thing.
Yeah.
And so the way that I open with people is I find out how their family is, how they've been doing, how's life, like how is 2023 for you? Was it a good year or was it a crazy year? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? With the economy or geopolitics in 2024? Because that seemed like 2023 was a crazy year, was a crazy ride. We had AI, we had all the layoffs, and then we started. There was it used to be Ukraine. I don't know what happened to Ukraine, and maybe it fell off the earth. It's not in the news anymore. Right? Yeah. And so we've got the crisis of the month club. So I wonder what's in store for the next 12 months. What's the 12 crises we're gonna face? And so then you let people run. You let people talk. It's like, wow, I never thought about that. I never thought about it like that. That's interesting. I've never tried that. So do you recommend trying that? And where's a good place to go find that? Right? Because I think every person is an encyclopedia of wisdom. Especially the older people, And so as you're going through life, you're trying to pick up wisdom. Now, and wisdom comes from experience, right? And experience comes from making mistakes, right? So, but you don't necessarily need to make all those mistakes yourself. You could watch other people and you can learn from their wisdom, which is their mistakes and the life lesson they took, right? So, hey, Paul, so is being an arborist and working, up on trees, Is it tough on your body?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, can be.
Yeah. Is like why is it tough? Because you're climbing and there's so much stress on your spine and legs and stuff like that, or why is it tough?
Yeah, it's pure muscle. It's pure adrenaline muscle. It's everything, dude. It's everything you got. You're using everything, muscles, ligaments,
Okay. So
all that.
so how like knowing what you know from how long you've been doing this, the tree
Oh,
thing?
I did it for at least 25 years. Yeah.
Okay. So, with your 5 years of experience, what advice would you give to someone that just, what advice would you give yourself 25 years ago to protect your health?
Oh, I
Like,
wouldn't have drank so many Monster energy drinks. I would have taken care of myself a lot better had I known what I know today.
yeah, you see?
Yeah.
So that's wisdom, right?
Yeah.
That's wisdom. That's years lived. That's experience gained. And so
Yes.
And so that right there is a possible engagement. It's like, wow, that you never, so this is why I talk to a lot of older people, mature people, because they've lived a life. You know,
Yes.
young people, they're full of energy and full of, ambition, right? But they don't really know that much. I mean, they know a lot about this,
Yep. Yep.
and TikTok and all that stuff. But but they haven't lived a number of years, right? But there's value, right? And so
Yeah.
everyone has value, and so you have to find it, right? But for me personally, I know a lot of things because I try to tease it out of people instead of me climbing a tree for 25 years, and doing what Paul does and getting you know um, you know um, knee troubles or back troubles or what I could just learn it from him,
Sorry.
you know
So you
so
just said right there, Sam, you said everyone has value. What did you say right after that?
yeah, so everyone has value and it's a matter of how to tease it out of them, you know and it doesn't take so much, it doesn't take a lot of work to get wisdom out of people because people like to share. Wisdom is gained and it's given freely, usually as advice. The problem is we don't take each other's advice. That's the problem. So we're like a stubborn species that's bumping around, getting cuts and nicks and being taking advice from the wrong people. We take advice from Red Bull and Monster Energy and Coca-Cola, and then we have to, like, that's why this business is so tough because you're giving the opposite advice of everything that they've been hearing for like 20, 30 years, and we don't have the marketing budget of Coca-Cola, right?
Right.
Or the sugar industry or the drug industry, or the bank. We don't have the marketing budget of the bank, and we're going to sell your dreams and get you into debt, but we're going to spin it as selling your dream.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
That's interesting. I think that just that one little thing, teasing the why out of people.
yeah.
Why?
Become, yeah,
Why do
become.
you want to do this? Why do you want to do this? Why do you do that? Why do you think this is an issue? Why do you think that's an issue?
Yeah, it's hard for me.
Why do you gosh, that's something that I seriously need to get better at is bringing the why out of people.
Yeah, and
And
and it's so it starts with you, JJ. So um, if you think right? If you think you're going to be speaking a lot. That this is why know-it-alls kind of like just speak a lot, right? But you have to know yourself, even though okay, so if you know everything, then that means there's not much for you to learn, right? Because you know everything already, right? But if you put yourself into a situation where it's like, okay, I'm going to pretend I don't know everything. I'm going to pretend I'm brand new at this. and this will help me absorb more information. Okay. So you show up with a mentality of, okay, I'm here to learn. Even though I already know, I'm here to learn. Okay.
Right.
And then someone's gonna show you something. Oh, this is how you tie your shoelaces. And you're like, holy smokes. Imagine if I just kept my mind open, for the last 40 something years. Right. And then you would have picked that up. And so you end up walking around flipping this. This is stuff I know. This is stuff I'd like to learn. This is stuff I want to learn. Right. So I'm going around literally with my antenna up and listening to things, observing things. And I spot patterns, you know. And one of the patterns I've spotted is like our society or humans, we like things complex. We overcomplicate everything. And this is why it's so complex to deal with humans. Yeah. You deal with a dog or a cat, it's really easy. You pet them underneath. I mean, you scratch them underneath the neck, rub them on the head. They'll probably follow you around the house, right?
Yeah.
You get a little snack, a little treat for the dog. You all of a sudden you got a best friend. It's really simple, right? But with humans, you can't do that. You can't just scratch someone under the neck and all of a sudden they're purring at you. It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean?
That is so funny. And you know, I think just this one little part of this conversation, I think, is going to end up being an absolutely huge thing for me, because from here on out, I'm always going to be asking why.
Hmm.
Why. I'm going to, before I say anything to anybody, it's always going to, before I say it, I'm going to think, why? Why am I saying this? And why are they interested? Why trying to get their why out of them? And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that kind of leads into the last part of what we're wanting to talk about today, and that is what you call the art of not doing business. And I think you kind of alluded to that earlier here when you said that sometimes I'll go like a whole year without even talking to anybody, to a person about my business. I just talk to them about their life, their family, their recreation, their dreams and goals.
Yeah.
And I don't even, they might know that I'm a Kangen water distributor, or any other particular distributor of any particular whatever you may be, whatever you may do. But rather than shoving your business down people's throat, maybe you get to know them first, right? Is that
Yeah.
what the art
Yeah.
of not doing business is about?
Yeah.
Can you expand upon that a little bit?
Yeah. So, the best salesman is a person that through their conversation or through their interaction makes you want to buy their stuff. You know what I mean? Like like this is why marketing is so powerful. You could see advertising for a cheeseburger, right? And all of a sudden your mouth starts to water and your mind's like, well, I mean, that cheeseburger looks pretty darn good, you know. And then magically the next day at lunchtime, you're hungry, and magically you think about that cheeseburger you saw yesterday. And here you find yourself at the Red Robin or Jack in the Box or McDonald's, or whatever, right? Because it was suggested, right? And so essentially that's what sales is. You are creating a situation where the person wants what you have. You don't have to like, hit them over the head with it, trip them on the sidewalk and then pour the stuff on them when they're on the sidewalk. You don't have to trap them, right? You could just live your life and be happy. And then, it's like, yeah, Sam, I've noticed that you ski a lot. Like Like well, we don't have much snow now, but like hopefully in a couple weeks, a month or so, we're gonna have enough snow where I'll be up in the mountains again, right? And then people's like, how is it that how many days did you ski last year, Sam? About 42, 43 days, something like that. How many are you planning on this year? 50, maybe? Who knows?
As
You know?
many as I can get.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know, like, but I'll shoot for 50, you know. Um, and it's like, how do you do that? How do you do that? Oh, because I work. I mean, so you work as a ski instructor? Well, this year. I'm not teaching. I'm not a professional skier this year. This year, I'm just going skiing 50 days, right? But how do you do that? Well, because I have a business that I could do from anywhere.
Right. Yeah, you could do this from the ski lift.
I do this from the ski lift.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
And so in the art of not doing business, for example, with so basically the art of doing business or not doing business is simply to
Make a
get to
friend.
know people, right?
Yeah, make a friend.
Yeah. And let me ask you something, because this is something that I has always bothered me, and I want to get your thought processes on it and how you handle it.
Mhm.
Um, every single day, I get messenger messages from people
Mhm.
on Facebook, and they'll say, "Hi, dear," or they'll say, "Hello, friend,"
Mhm.
or the thing that drives me the most crazy is um, when they say, "Hi, John." And, because I've always hated being called John, because my name is J. John, not John. And I hate it when people don't bother with the first J.
Yeah.
Like the best way for somebody to put themselves on my bad side is to send me a message that says, "Hi, John."
Yeah.
And, what I'm curious about is, what do you do? I'm sure you get those kinds of messages
Oh
too,
yeah. Yeah.
where they might just send you a message that says, "Hi, Sam."
Yeah.
And
So
they
what
don't tell you how they found you, where, anything, why, anything at all about why they're sending you a message. What kind of tack do you go after for those people? What do you do in those situations? Do you just ignore them, or do
uh
you?
well, you have to be aware that there's a lot of catfishing going on out there. There's a lot of scamming going on.
Mm-hmm.
I get texts like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. When are we getting together?" And I'm like, who the hell is this? There's a lot of people catfishing out there, right? Just trying to hook someone and reel them in. So you got to be careful because the whole with the social media and being online, there's a anonymity. There's a keyboard that people can hide behind. And if they want you to see them, they'll get a picture from Google and they'll send it to you, right? And so they're not even people. They're people that are trying to scam people, and they're hiding their identity behind a keyboard, right? And so it's probably some hacker, that's just trying to get your information, trying to get um, close to you, so they can glean more information, and then one day or 1 month later, they'll ask you if you can send them $20 or $200, because of some situation. And this is 2023, JJ. So this happens all the time, you know. And so you have to be able to recognize, because I see that and I just delete it and I just block it.
Yeah.
Because if
Like
someone,
those like those people that tried to get me on their Echo team, Sam.
mm, yeah,
Them people that remember I sent you that
yeah,
message. Man,
yeah,
I couldn't believe that guy.
yeah,
He told me I didn't love myself. I was like, dude,
Like, who are you?
yeah, you've stepped way out of bounds, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recognize that there's a lot of scam things going on out there. And, I try to evaluate each person, even those that call me John, but I always go and look at their profile before I even reply back to them or anything. I go click on their name and go look at their profile and see if they've got a bunch of photos, see how many friends they've got, things like that, and so I know I always try to, look at people, and I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, there's a lot of scamming going on
Yeah.
out there. There's a lot of bots that are hacking people's, you're not getting hacked. It's just somebody's grabbed your stuff and botted it.
Yeah.
I know that's happened to me a couple of times. I've gotten messages from people saying, "Is this you?" And I tell them, "Look, if it doesn't say who to you in it, then it's not me." you know?
So so now you're gonna train some AI bot to type hooty hoo after everything it types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one thing they never do is they never type that, and when they
And that's the thing. It's like we're getting to a time in our society where and I said this a few years ago, fake is the new real, you know. So fake is the new real. Like everything's you've got fake economists, you've got fake, medicine, you've got fake food, you've got fake, influencers, you got fake personalities, like also, everything's fake. Fake is the new real, right? And so you have to be authentic with yourself. You have to be authentic. You have to find the authenticity in people. And nowadays, even friends that you've been years with for 7, 8 years, 10 years, whatever, there's people are often um, putting out a facade, you know and they don't like to be found out. They don't like, people don't like to be found out. That's why they're on a keyboard instead of getting together with you over a cup of coffee, right? And so we still have to be aware that although this Zoom technology is nice, right? uh the best thing is being with each other, eating together, drinking together, experiencing some weather together,
yeah.
right? That's the best thing because I think we need to get back to that type of society because this is all fake. This is all manufactured, influence, manufactured significance, and because if you look at people's profiles on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, you would think they're like the king or queen or the prince. Their life is so amazing, right? But in reality, most people are like lonely, because this is not true friendship. This is not true satisfaction here. True satisfaction is hanging out with people and doing hanging out with family, you know. And so
Yeah.
we need to get back to that. But you have to be very careful because so many people can pick up on what you put on, because if you're a fisherman, all they got to do is, hey, what hook do you recommend for this type of fish on this river? And all of a sudden they've got you hooked because you're a fisherman and you're into that stuff. So you have to be very careful, you because people do go through your profile. They study you, right? And so for me, especially if it comes from some you know some phone number, some foreign phone number, you know. Well, actually, if it's a hot chick, right? It's like they send me a picture or something like, "Hey, this is Mary," and it's like some supermodel chick saying, "I haven't seen you in a while." I'm like, dude, I don't know any supermodels. Like,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
probably an obese, like over the age, over the hill guy sitting behind a laptop that just sent me that message.
Right.
What are the odds? It's a little bit too crazy to believe, right? Like
Exactly.
why would this person who looks like that be reaching out to me?
Man.
right? I mean, I get all sorts of people reaching out to me, but there's no way Cindy Crawford is going to be reaching out to Sam Tran. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at least not every day.
Unless
Okay.
she wants to learn something real, you know.
Right. And so we have to still be living in reality. We can't be living in this delusion, that oh, we can access anyone and anyone can access us. Yeah, but you have to be careful who's accessing you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the things, Sam. We met through a Zoom call, and one of the best days that I'll never forget was when Stephanie and I were able to drive up to Idaho Falls and meet you for the first time and actually give you a real hug.
Yeah.
And then being able to stay at your house when I went up there for Bob Wright's presentation. And same thing with the tree topper. We met through Zoom calls. And Tara, we met through Zoom calls, and then that ended up leading to us getting to actually physically meet face to face and give real hugs. And that's why we'll always be friends, is because we found out that there is authenticity
Yeah.
among us. And so yeah, I love that concept of that most people are fake, and we want to bring authenticity to the equation.
Yeah, because it's much easier to live your whole life that way because it's less effort. If you're uh, like me, I'm gaining a little weight now, and so this is me. This is I'm just a regular guy. I'm not some, six pack ab guy. You know what I mean? And so you don't have to pretend to be one. And so, but some people are so, especially with social media, and I feel really bad for a lot of younger people out there because they need to get their value from things that they know how to do and who they are, not just how they look, with their head tilted over. It's not all superficial. It's not, there's got to be some substance out there, right? But our society is so superficial. Everything's a selfie, everything's a TikTok dance, and everything's like attention seeking, right? And so, but what happens when you get older and stuff starts to sag and you don't get the looks that you used to? Ooh, that's going to be that. It's called hitting the wall. Okay, men hit the wall, women hit the wall, right? And so this whole fake life thing is going to end because people are just going to get tired of it. I think people already are going to kind of get tired of it. So it's a matter of just being authentic and just getting to know people, getting to know their families, getting to know, what makes them tick, and what they aspire to be, what their dreams are, right? Because I think we need to get back to that as a society. No, traditionally, humans, we only have a circle of about 150 friends, but if you look at shoot, my friend list, my supposedly friend list on Facebook is like over 2,000 or something, but traditionally it's been about 150. And this is why villages are about 150 or so, right? Most villages, if you go into the Amazon forest or something. So we need to find out who's real and who's not, because I think society is heading to a position where there's so many things out there that are not real, you know. And that's why for me, like, I really don't do a business in the sense that I'm out there pushing, right? I'm out there living my life and I found a way to be healthy and I found an endorsement deal. I drink this water, and when people see me out there skateboarding and skiing and they go, "Well, how do you do this?" Well, I'm a professional water drinker. Come to one of my classes. I'll teach you how to drink water.
I love that. I'm a professional water drinker. Come to one of my concerts.
Right? Right?
That's what I love about you, Sam. You always give me so many. There's not a single first Monday of the month that goes by that I don't come out of this meeting with something new, something that will help not only make a difference in my life, but give me the opportunity to potentially make a difference in other people's lives.
Yeah.
When we decided to start doing this once a month we decided to do it on the first Monday of every month because, most people don't like Mondays. And I love Mondays. As a serial entrepreneur, I think Monday is actually the best day of the week. Where
Mm.
most people think Friday is the best day of the week, I actually like Monday the best.
Yeah. Because you get to be you. You get to be, because usually people are themselves Saturday and Sunday, right? And then Monday, oh, Sunday night they're doing some laundry, right? And they're ironing their suit and tie or whatever like that, so they can walk into the corporate job Monday, right? And handle someone else's business, someone else's issues, right? Because they got to earn money to pay for the bills, right? And then Saturday they're watching a little college football, hanging out with the buddies, going fishing, whatever. Sunday maybe a little professional football, right? Doing laundry in the evening and starting the whole thing over again. Monday, get ready for Monday, work Monday, right? But we get to be ourselves. We don't have this. Most people don't have this level of authenticity where every day is a Friday. Like sometimes, literally, sometimes, JJ, I don't know what day of the week it is because like no, like humans are the only ones with a calendar,
I
right?
know that feeling.
Right? Humans are the only ones with a calendar.
I'll tell you what, Sam, I actually love it when I forget what day of the week it is. I love it. That's like, this is a great week this week
Yeah.
because I don't even remember what day of the week it is. That's perfect.
We don't even care.
Yeah,
And that's
I mean, but most people are literally, they're just, as soon as Monday's here, all they can think about is when's Friday going to get here.
yeah. I think most people out there, and it's a reality. It's getting tougher out there, right? Because the middle class is getting whittled down, and so you're going to have this concentration of wealth and like this really big population of poor people and this really big population of very well-to-do people, and the middle class is just going to get them pulled one way or the other, right? And so you could open up a conversation and you say, hey, when was your last vacation and what was your favorite vacation? Right? They can't answer yes or no to that. Right? What
That's
was
a
your
good
favorite vacation of all time? Right? And then they're gonna say, wow, man, I really love going to Hawaii. What about Hawaii that made it so interesting? Right? And let them, what was your favorite part about Hawaii? Let them open it, right? And so eventually you're gonna share. Hopefully they reciprocate. After talking about their vacation for 10 minutes, they ask you, well, how about you? That's only courteous, right? Like to have someone reciprocate and ask you, what about your vacation? Well, my favorite vacation is whenever I get to spend time on the beach with my family. And so that's why we go to like Hawaii or Florida at least a couple times a year, right? Because that's what I value. And they might go, wow, you go to Hawaii or Florida like all the time? I said, yeah, for work. Wow, what kind of work do you do? I drink water professionally.
good.
And they're like, what? Like it doesn't match up in their head.
I love that.
Right.
So,
And
family, for one last little thing, I think, because we're nearing our hour. So, um, as far as getting the why out of people, you know, questions about family, vacations, um,
It's
occupation.
formed. It's called form. FORM. F is family.
uh,
O is occupation. R is
Creation.
recreation, and M is like motivation or meaning, right? Like like what motivates you? What motivates you in life? What motivates you to become the athlete that you are? Like so it's called form, FORM. So you form them, right? Ask them about their family, their occupation, and then dive deeper, right? Don't just like pepper them with 20 questions. Find something interesting or interests you about them, and then or they let you know what their interests are, and then you go deeper into their interests, right? And then they'll probably think, hey, JJ is such a great conversationalist, and you're like, I didn't say two words.
So, you asked me, what was my favorite vacation, and I'd end up replying back, well, my favorite vacation is not even a vacation. It's actually an expedition.
Oh yeah, really? Where well like you going down expedition, like you going to the Amazon forest or that kind of expedition, like you're going to the plains of Africa and stuff like that, or
Well, sort of. I actually call it Planet Paradise, but
hmm.
it's a trip down a river trip down the Grand Canyon where it's 280 miles, a
Wow.
river trip. It's 23 days. You go down there and you're you're on your own. There's no 7-Elevens, there's no Walmarts, there's nowhere to stop and get anything. Whatever you went with, that's what you got.
Yeah.
No quick trip.
And I've told people it's not really a vacation. It's actually an expedition. I've told
Hmm.
people if you're coming on this trip, understand it's not a vacation.
Yeah.
It's an
So how
expedition.
often do you get to go, JJ? Once a year or
It,
once a
Unfortunately, it's one of those things that is very difficult to get on. It's very popular. Um, I've been blessed to do it 9 times,
wow, okay.
but I haven't done it in a long time now. It's
Hmm.
probably been 7 or 8 years since the last time I did it.
Yeah, yeah.
I do look forward to being able to do it again.
Yep. Yeah. So see, so when you have that type of passion, it's really easy okay, so you follow up questions like so 23 days, that's a quite a long trip. So what are you packing along? Right? And shoot, that'll be a half an hour conversation right there for you.
Yeah,
How are you preparing what goes into planning that type of trip? You can't just answer yes to that question, right?
right.
You gotta literally explain. Well, first of all, you gotta have this equipment, and then you have your food, and then you gotta keep it, plan to how to keep everything dry, and then the logistics of it. Who's gonna pick you up? Who's gonna drop you off? Like it's a lot, right? It's an expedition, right?
Yeah,
And so that's what you do to get to know people. And everyone has their own thing that they love. Someone will love puppies, someone will love babies, someone will love rockets, someone will love cars and gardening. Who knows what people love, right? But you're there to find out about their passion, and then and then hopefully there's some kind of alignment, and then you can be friends. Like I have a friend, Dennis, that knows how to cut bonsai trees, right? So I was cleaning his machine one time, and then I asked him, so what do you do for fun? What do you do for a living? I really like to trim trees. And I said, great. Can you teach me? Because I got a bunch of trees here that haven't had a haircut in like 2 decades. So you just come and you point and I'll cut. And then I want to really learn this art with you. Right? He goes, oh, fantastic. Right. And so we're gonna hang out, and he's gonna, I'm gonna have a little spray can. I'm just gonna mark the branches as he points to them, and I'll follow up, and then I'll take a picture, and I'll say, "Hey, Dennis, how does this look?" And then he'll critique it for me, and he goes, you know, and that's the thing, because I'm learning a new craft from him.
Right.
Right. And that's basically what we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
that's awesome, Sam. I once again we're at exactly an hour into this, and you know,
Okay.
we're trying to keep these things at about an hour. And I know you're busy. I know I'm busy,
Yeah,
and
I got to clean a couple of machines today.
it's all we can do to get people to spend an hour of their time. But what I
I had
hope
to
is
wait
that,
for the UPS man.
So,
My
all right,
Ukon
guys.
came. My Ukon came this morning.
beautiful.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
That's a beautiful thing right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So hopefully, JJ, you know, hopefully, you know, I was able to share something that would help you in opening with people, you know, because we have to remember we are in the people business, and we have a product here that every person on the planet is going to need to drink for the rest of their life, as long as there are people on the planet, you know. And so I don't know who's gonna dominate this planet next, but they'll probably have to drink water too. You
Yeah, no doubt about that.
know? so
So
so so it's
before
really
we
natural for us to be talking about, you know, helping people, and but it's their way. It's their motivation. It's not our motivation. You
right.
know, so we have to understand what their motivation is. So
Yep.
Hopefully people that get a chance to watch this as we spread it out there, hopefully the concept of teasing the why out of people and the art of not doing business that we've talked about today, hopefully that'll help people. Everything we do on this first Monday of the month, we're trying to help people start their month out with a bang, so that they can have a successful month, so that it can, and you know, it can be for whatever it is, whether it's Kangen water or anything else. It's still all the same principles.
Mhm.
And you know, so that's what we're trying to do, is make a difference in people's lives. And
Cool. Cool.
so before we leave real quick, I'd just like to give us a quick prayer, and then we can get on with things, huh?
All right. Thank you.
Our Father in heaven, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for Sam. I want to thank you for Paul. I want to thank you for Tara and everybody else, and Mr. Oshiro, and all the great people that are the part of this life-changing company. The the phrase is change your water, change your life. And it, Lord, it ain't no joke. Being part of this has been such a life-changing thing. I've met, like, literally everything that's going on in my life today is because of the fact that I made the choice to change my water, and it has indeed changed my life. I want to ask that you will help the people that are going to receive this message down the road, that they'll receive it, that it'll resonate with their heart and their mind and their desires, and give them ideas that will help them make a difference in this world. And I want to say that all of this we appreciate. In the name of Jesus, amen.
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 All right. Thank you, you guys.
Hey,
Thank you,
thanks,
Sam.
Sam.
Thank you, JJ. Have a good day.
You're
All right.
welcome, you guys. We love you. And
Love you.
make it a great one. Get out there and make a difference. And we'll see you next month. And I'll get this out there.
Amen.
As soon as I have
Okay.
it available, I'll get it transferred over to Censor YouTube and get it.
Tulsa shootout, Chili Bowl time, world's largest sprint car race in American history.
Mm.
Woo-hoo.
All right. Have a Merry Christmas and a happy
Man.
holidays, guys.
You too, Sam and
Sounds
JJ.
great. Love
All
you
right. All right.
guys.
All right.
Bye for
Bye-bye.
Love
now.
ya.
Woo-hoo.